Shalom, shalom. Shalom. First things first, I'm going to give all praise and honor unto Yahweh, Bashim Shai, Bashim Dash, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Al Shai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Al Shai, for this truth, knowledge, and wisdom. And we give double honors to our apostles and elders, which are apostles a great millstone, the hopeful elect on the four corners of the planet Earth, that's pushing this truth with all sincerity, honesty, and faith. Keep fighting. The mark is there. The finish line is there. Everything is set up to win, man. All right. The things you're seeing happening right now, man, is beautiful times we're living in, man, because the prophecies are speaking. They're yelling, like it says in Habakkuk, at the end shall speak and not lie. Okay, so this lesson, as you see today, is really on my mind for a few days, but I woke up and I was like, I've been up for a minute, so just trying to put everything together. And it says they shall hate the whore, man, because what you're seeing right now, because in the major news, what's happening is the allies of Babylon are turning face, man. They're turning against the U.S. on certain issues, especially with Iran. All right, because we know Russia is going to be a guard unto Iran in that time. But you have the EU states that are like they're hesitant on coming. You had the situation with Spain that pulled out. I spoke about that earlier this week with Spain and a few allies, and then I got some videos I'm getting ready to play to back up the point. But what I'm saying here is that we know in reading the chapter. Let me just get it real quick. I'll get it, and then we'll speak about it a little bit more. All right, because then this will set the tone for the actual lesson. This is Revelation 17 and verse 16. All right. 1 second. Let me update. And we know that the whore is America, man. Okay, because this is the woman arrayed in scarlet that sitteth upon many waters. Okay. 1 second. All right. This is the whore that sitteth upon many waters. All right. So it says Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 whores and the 10 horns, Salakia, the 10 horns, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. All right. So what is the word? Let me share real quick. Let me share the screen so you brothers can look with me. All right. As we see here, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest, and we know that is what? The EU. Okay. You have the EU, NATO, the beast system. Okay. But it says the 10 horns which thou sawest. I don't know why that popped up. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So what is the word hate? Let's go into that word hate. Because there's going to be something that's taking place, and we're seeing it now. Everything's not sound, because they have to, for the press, if there's a little animosity on the press, it's worse behind closed doors. But right now everybody's eating. Everything is somewhat good in good behind the scenes. But they're gonna say this. Something serious is gonna take place to where these nations, okay, the EU is going to what? They're going to go against this place and launch weapons. All right, the Lord is going to put it on their mind because everything that's happening in the planet Earth is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. The Lord uses other nations to combat other nations. And I've said this many times. And the word there is Messiah. All right, let's make sure we're pronouncing that right.
Strong's G 3404. Messiah.
And it says the word means to hate, pursue with hatred, detest. So there's going to be something that happens where they pursue America with hatred, okay? To be hated, detested. All right. So we look up some of these words. Let's look up the word detested. Because the Lord's going to put an evil thought in the mind of these other nations, especially Russia. It says dislike intensely. Okay, so there's going to be something that happens to make these other nations dislike intensely, and you're seeing it now because what America's running around and calling shots. How you going to say if I say that you're in the if I say you're a manager or you're a part owner of a company, but I make all the decisions, and I don't let your decision. If you make a decision or you make an input or you put in some kind of addition to the conversation, and I completely ignore you. I do it one time, I do it another time, a third time. You're gonna start feeling like you're not really a part of the so-called leadership. That you're just there. These other nations are starting to feel that type of animosity to say, look, it just feels like you running the show and we just here giving you our power. That's why it says that they shall give the power unto the beast, okay, for a season. We can go ahead and get that also. But it feels these other nations are starting to feel like, hold on, I thought we're all sitting at the table on the same accord, but it feels like your decisions are the ones that are ruling. So these other nations are starting to feel that type of heat, man, and they don't like it because that's the Lord that's making this happen, man. America's decisions are forcing their own allies to turn against them. Okay, and then it says, pursue with hatred, detest. All right. Let me see if there's a root to this. No, there's no root on this one. Let's go down to the no, there's no root on that one. Let me read it again. And it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And what's that fire? It's those thermonuclear weapons that's going to be used in these last days, man. Okay? They're going to be used intensely in these last days because that's going to be a what? The Most High is what? He says he created the smith that blow up the coals in the fire, man. All right, it's pushing towards these other nations not going along with the U.S. and its decision. So now let's go ahead and play these clips, and then we go ahead and go into some more scriptures. So listen closely on this interview. This is on looks like CBS or CBSN, and there's skirmishes because the U.S. came out with a report earlier this week saying that there was credible threats from Iran. So they're trying to set the bar like they're on the defense. America likes to play defense because they don't want to seem like they're the ones on offense. All right.
Increased threats to forces in Iraq and Syria. As you know, British Major General Chris Giga spoke about this. The journal are skeptical of any increased threats to, and the U.S. allies are skeptical of any increased threats to forces in Iraq.
U.S. allies.
In Syria, as you know, British Major General Chris Giga spoke about this. The journalist at the Pentagon via video from Baghdad. I want to play a bit of what he had to say and then talk to you.
There are a range of threats to American and coalition forces in Iraq and Syria. We monitor them all. Iranian-backed forces is clearly one of them. And I'm not going to go into the detail of it, but there are a substantial number of militia groups in Iraq and Syria. And we don't see any increased threat from many of them at this stage.
David, what was the reaction from the Pentagon to maybe?
You have the EU and you have NATO, okay? These are the things that the components that are part of this beast system that these other nations are a part of, and they're not feeling that they're having a say-so in this so-called organization, okay, and organizations.
General Giga.
Well, one officer I talked to used the word flabbergasted, and the Pentagon, specifically the U.S. Central Command, which is responsible for Iraq, put out a statement basically repudiating what the British general had said and reiterating that there are real and credible threats against Americans. But the problem here is that the details of the intelligence are not being released. And they are being very closely held, in fact. And without the details, it's easy to become skeptical about exactly how good the intelligence is. But all I can tell you is that I've talked to several officials, including a couple who are not in favor of U.S. policy in Iraq. And even those officials acknowledge that the threats of attacks by Iranian proxies appear to be credible.
Okay, that's interesting. So, David, the president denied reports that there was a plan to put as many as 120,000 troops in position in the region. But we know that the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier is there. Do we know what the plan is in terms of the military, or what the situation is in terms of U.S. military in the region?
Well, we already have.
So they're moving troops. We already know the reports. I mean, if you brothers stay up on the news, you know that the reports is there. So what? Now we're gonna go to the EU, because NATO, the beast, they're not America that's sitting on that. That's why it's such a perfect a perfect description of what the situation is, because America is the one sitting on that beast. Okay, just like you see today in, like, if you watch Game of Thrones or anything, like, what happens when somebody rides the dragon? They control the dragon. Okay, they control the movements of the dragon. All right, so it's a perfect metaphor analogy to show that America just pretty much, oh yeah, we're listening to all y'all, but they're the ones that's riding this beast. Okay, but these allies are getting ready to turn on the beast, turn on the woman, and they're gonna what? They're gonna fulfill the Revelation 17 and 16.
Towards Tehran that carries great risk.
Let's go ahead and play this. We'll play this from the beginning, and then we'll go into the scriptures.
Maximum restraint. Mike Pompeo held talks with EU foreign ministers during Secretary of State that it fully supports the European Union has told the US Secretary of State that it fully supports the international nuclear deal with Iran, and called on the US to show maximum restraint. Mike Pompeo held talks with EU foreign ministers during an unexpected stopover in Brussels. The bloc's foreign policy chief expressed concern that US strategy towards Tehran carries grave risks. Last week, Iran announced it was scaling back some commitments under the 2015 nuclear deal.
Mike Pompeo heard that very clearly today from us, not only from myself, but also from the other ministers of EU member states, that we are living in a crucial, delicate moment where the most relevant attitude to take, the most responsible attitude to take is, and we believe should be, and that of maximum restraint and avoiding any escalation.
Natasha Butler has more now from Brussels.
Well, the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo may have come to Brussels hoping to persuade EU foreign ministers to drop their support for the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, but he would have left disappointed. The EU's foreign policy chief, Federica Mogherini, made it very clear indeed that EU member states still feel very committed to the Iran deal. She said that it is still the best bet for regional security. And earlier in the day, we heard from some foreign ministers, including the German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas, who said this deal is all about stopping Iran from having nuclear weapons. Well, Mogherini also called on both sides, on both Tehran and Washington, to de-escalate tensions. She called for calm, and she called on Iran to continue complying with the 2015 deal.
So everything is leading up to this conflict, man. Okay, that's why we're saying we're at the door of this thing, man. Okay, we're at the door. We're right at the time where everything is going to come to a head, and the destruction is coming, man. That's why it's such a blessed time to be where we're at right now, to be able to know what the Lord has. He's told us of the beginning from the end. He's told the end from the beginning. Okay, they're going to lock horns and they're going to launch weapons on the U.S., man. They're just doing it. Say, hey, hold on. I thought we were all on the same chord here. No, it's not. The U.S. is running things, and they're going to attack Iran because it's prophecy. They're going to go into Iran. And these Amalekites, which are so-called Jews in the land of Israel today, the land of Palestine, they are sternly against Iran. They're going to do anything. And you have Bolton. Iran called him the mustache. If I'm not, I think it's Bolton. Let's see. Yep, Bolton. This guy right here. Okay, he's a war hawk. Okay, John R. Bolton is a war hawk, and he's the one that's pushing because he's set up on the side of the Amalekites to push forth this war, man. Okay, and he's gonna push that agenda because he wants war with Iran, and it's gonna happen by way of the scriptures, and we know that. All right, so let's get into these precepts, then we're gonna get up out of here, man. The next precept is Revelations 18, and we're going to go to 8. This is Revelations 18 and 8, and it says, and shalom to you brothers on the comment board. Yabashim Shabbat to you brothers. You brothers got any comments or scriptures, man? I'll definitely get them in 1 second. This is Revelations 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. And it says this destruction is going to take place in what? 1 hour. So the Lord going to do quick work of that America, man. Okay? And that's, I always say this to brothers, there's going to be 23 hours left in the day after Babylon's gone. Okay? It's going to be people, there's going to be news clips. It's going to be showing. There's going to be live streams going. You can see it, man. There's still going to be satellites up. There's still going to be different things that are working, you know, to where it's going to be the Lord wants this to be public, man. Wants it to be loud. Like if you watch certain movies and then somebody does something to another gang organization, they said the retaliation, they want it to be loud. What do they mean? They mean they want it to be well known to know not to mess with that organization. So the Lord wants this judgment to be loud and direct. They want the world is going to know, just like in the time of ancient Egypt, when we left out of Egypt, the known world at that time, the known nations at that time were in fear of us because the Lord had just delivered his people and destroyed Egypt and destroyed the armies of Pharaoh. So the Lord wanted public back then, and it's going to be public now. They said there's nothing new under the sun because the Lord is going to destroy Egypt again. And you see the plagues. Why have we been doing reports on the Black Plague, the bubonic plague, typhoid, all these different plagues? They're plagues, man. They're pestilences. They're diseases. Just like the Lord put diseases on ancient Egypt, he's doing it now. And it says, verse 8, and it says, therefore her plagues come in one day. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord who judgeth her. And the judgments have reached we're all nothing but the jury that's telling you the judgments of the Lord, man. You can't be mad at us. We're just telling you what you got to be mad at yourself, Esau. You're the one that raped, robbed, and murdered the planet Earth. You thought there was no repercussions of it. Just because you don't respect us as a nation and as a people, you don't have to worry about respecting us, but you got to fear the words that we're telling you, man. Just like Nebuchadnezzar didn't listen. What happened when the Lord jacked him up? He said he will kill anybody that speaks against the Lord of the power of the Israelites, man. He respected it after he was jacked up. You don't have to respect it at first, but it's going to come to pass, man. This is verse 19, Revelations 18 and 19. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. Because you're going to have different commerce that's still going, different business owners that aren't attached to governments. But these governments are going to be a part of that destruction. So you're going to have businessmen, men that are in trade, that they're going to wail, weep, because they're not going to be able to make no more money. They're not worried about their government's decision. They're just worried about making money for their business and their corporations. All right. So now we're going to go into showing you that just like the Lord did unto us with our allies, because Israel, when we were set up, we had different trade agreements with nations around us. If you read in the Old Testament. So what the Lord do, he made the same ones that we were in league with, the ones that we were dealing with, he made them come against us, man. So the Lord did that to us. What makes you think he's not going to do that to Esau? This is Ezekiel 16:37. Behold, therefore I will gather all thy lovers with whom thou hast taken pleasure. All right. And let's look up that word, lovers. Someone you're in bed with. Okay, just like the EU and NATO, majority NATO is showing you that what? They're in bed with these other nations. The word there is ahab. All right, ahab. It says love, human love for another, including family, sexual, human appetite of objects such as food, drink, sleep, wisdom, human love for our power, act of being a friend. See? Act of being a friend. They were friends with these other nations. They had different nations that was in league with them, man. All right? Hey, man, brother's getting it in, man. Hold on. Let me grab some precepts. This is from GMS Iron Sharpen Iron. This is Isaiah 47:9. But two things, it says, but these two things shall come in thee in a moment, in one day, loss of children and widowhood, and shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries, because America has thought that the chickens were not going to come home to roost, man. They never thought that they were going to go into a conflict and have to pay for the things that they're doing. That's why Esau's not used to what's going on right now, Akim. He's not used to being told no. He's not used to having to find different ways to make his agenda come to pass, man. Because now with the internet and the knowledge and the wisdom that's out here, like it says in Daniel, it says what? Wisdom shall run to and fro. Knowledge shall increase. So the world right now is very knowledgeable on things, man. Okay, especially with the secret societies and agendas. And it says, and for the great abundance of thine enchantment, and also the magic, man. Esau's been using magic on people, but now the magic is wearing off. It's not as powerful as it once was. Now it's not hitting like it once was. The potency, that's the word I'm looking for. The potency of Esau's magic is wearing off, man. Okay, that's why he sacrifices. Esau's been into child sacrifice, all these different rituals. These are to increase his power for his agenda. Because the elites are witches and warlocks, man. They use the left-hand side to further their agenda. They deal with the spiritual demon Satan. They think Satan's the one that's helping them go to their agenda, but it's really the Most High, man. You can't do nothing but work for the Most High, man. This is Isaiah 13:19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the serpent make her fold there, because this nuclear radiation is going to radiate America, man. America ain't gonna be what it once was. It's gonna go down. And look, that's spiritual. The brother Colorado Lessons posted the same scripture. That's showing you that look, that's the spirit that the Lord has given on the planet Earth to say what, man? This Esau is going down, man. Esau is getting ready to be put down. These scriptures are speaking. Habakkuk 2. Or if you read the book of Habakkuk, let me get that real quick, because I've quoted it twice. Salakia. I've quoted it twice. If the scripture come up twice, you got to get it, man. You must need to get it. This is the book of Habakkuk 2 and verse 3. And it says, and that's why we got to consider ourselves blessed, man, because the Lord is letting us know the plans that are getting ready to take place, man. Just like the ancient men didn't understand, we're being revealed to it now. We're being privy to it now. Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come, it will not tarry. And that's also another reason to show you Esau don't know what's going on, man. If he knew what was going on, he would have tried to stop what was happening. He don't have control over his own self, and he does not know these scriptures, man. Okay, that's a sit down. Esau don't know the scriptures, man. He has a roundabout idea, but at the end of it, he don't know these scriptures, man. Okay, because it's not in him to know. Yeah, exactly. He said, no. God. And it said, let's go back to Ezekiel. It's Ezekiel. It says, behold, therefore I will gather all thy lovers in whom thou takest pleasure, and all them that thou hast loved, and all them that thou hast hated. I will even gather them round about against thee. Because who's the ones that he's loved? The ones that are in NATO, the EU, the nations that he has in his pocket, and then the ones that thou hast hated. Who has he hated? Iran, Russia, China. Those because those are the ones that he's always kept at arm's length, man. He's always got his eye on China, Russia, and their allies. Okay, and those are the ones he loves, and the ones that he hated is the ones that's going to come against him and burn him with fire. And this is just the example that I'm showing to show that the Lord did it back then with us being the ones that when we fell, we went against the Most High. He made our lovers and the ones that we hated come against us. It says, and I will even gather them round about against thee, and I will discover thy nakedness unto them, that they may see all thy nakedness. From what? From even the way they treat Jakes in America, to the way they run with the transgenderism, the all these things that's been happening these past years, you all can been paying attention to. These are all the Lord making these nations hate this place, man. Okay, they're making, because it says they drank the wine and they are mad, man. These other nations are mad by drinking this democracy, and because they say you want us to follow this democracy to a T, but you're not even following it. The worst thing is a hypocrite, man. That's why with all these other groups that are talking the law, and then you ain't doing the law yourself, you're a hypocrite, man. Yahushua said, what? Do as they say, but not as they do. It says, and I will judge thee as women that break wedlock, because that goes into Israel. See that? Just like I was saying earlier, the Lord judged us because we broke our vow to him. By what? Going after these other nations, starting to adopt these other nations' ways. So the Lord, he said, look, I'm gonna make these other nations, the ones you love so much, you don't love me, but you love them. I'm gonna show you what I can do to them. I control them. It's Ezekiel 16:39. It says, and I will also give thee into their hand, and they shall throw down thy eminent places or palace. Let me see that word. Let's look up that word real quick. Surface, backs, convex surface, backs, boss, brow, eyebrow. Eminent, yep. Place. And it says, Salakia. Go. And shall break down thy high place. They shall strip thee also of thy clothes, and shall take thy fair jewels, and leave thee naked and bare. Because these other nations, they're gonna burn this place, man. We read that in Revelation. They're going to burn this place, and that's the bottom line. So I just wanted to, put this together to show, look, the nations are starting to hate Babylon. The prophecies are coming to pass, man. Isaiah 47:3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen, and I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So the Lord is going to take vengeance on Babylon for the blood, the shedding of the blood, the destroying of the planet Earth, the rape, rob, and murder. All these things are the judgments of the Lord that's coming upon Babylon for what it's done. And we know that everything that's written is written for what? Our learning. So Esau, you need to learn from our mistakes. But hey, that Esau, you ain't learning from our mistakes, my man. I say because you ain't learning from what we did wrong. You think you're going to get away with it. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. And like we said earlier, you don't have a savior. Esau don't have nobody to go and be a so-called advocate for him. He has none. All right. This is Romans 15 and verse 4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So we know that we messed up and we got jacked up. Now we know Esau's going to get jacked up. He's not going to escape. He's not going to get out scot-free like he's going to, get out. He doesn't have a get out of jail free card. Okay. He has no Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. Lord willing, we still going to put that together, man. Okay. This man has no deliverer. He has nobody to reconcile him, because he's not for reconciliation. He's for destruction. He's the example, man. Esau is a glorified example of what not to do. He doesn't even realize it. He's got a stout look and a proud look. You don't realize you're a fall man. Esau, you're a fall guy, man. You're set up to show what not to do. That's why at the 1,000 years, you're going to be burnt up, man. The elders were speaking about that, man. Like the elder was saying, look, after 1,000 years, man, we're not going to need you around, because everything is going to be perfect. Everything is going to be set up under the rulership of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, King David, the 12. And the earth is going to be at rest, man. We're not going to need no kind of sword no more. Okay, you don't have no usefulness. You've outlived your usefulness after that 1,000 years, man. We're going to show the nations, look, this is not what you do. And if you do this, you're going to be punished. Bottom line, you're going to be punished. This is Jeremiah 13 and 22. And with all the situation that's going on with these other nations, it's going to intensify. It's going to intensify. The Lord has set up these men, these Edomites, perfect. Every one of these Edomites are set up to do their job. Just like Bolton, just like Pompeo, all these guys are just coming back. They were somebody in the ancient world, in the Roman Empire. They're just in their position now to what? Play their role and go to war with Iran. They're going. There's going to be the false flag. Something's going to take place on a scale to where what? America's going to go in there by itself, or with a little allies, and it's gonna move quick, man. It's going to move quick. But this mark of the beast is coming right around the corner. Everything is set up, man. The Most High is a chess player, man, and it's beautiful to watch. If you can watch news, you can just see the Most High's work, man. You know, that's what keeps me strong. You know what I'm saying? The faith, but just seeing it. That's why you stay in these scriptures, man, and stay in the news. Your faith is boosted every day, man, because you're watching the Lord work, and you're seeing the Lord's work in front of your eyes, man. Why these other guys get weak? They fall out. They want to go against so-called great millstone. They're not watching the news. You notice they don't do no news updates. They don't jump in no kind of prophecy anymore, because they're not watching, man. That's why Yahushua said, when I come on the earth, shall I find faith, man. Faith cometh by what? Hearing, man. So we constantly got to recharge our faith in this truth. All right, let me get a couple more scriptures and close on out, man. This is Jeremiah 13 and 22. And it says, and if thou say in thy heart, wherefore comest thee? So like it, if thou say in thy heart, wherefore come these things upon thee? For the greatness of thine iniquity are thy skirt discovered. So like it, for the greatness of thine iniquity are thy skirts discovered, and thy heels made bare. So why the average Edomite don't even ask this question? Why is all this badness happening? Why is our water jacked up? Why is we got so much pollution? Why are these diseases happening? Because the greatness of thine iniquities, man. So all these things that you've done, you're now getting ready to pay for it. The shedding of our blood, and we're chanting you on down, man. There's no shoulder to lean on over here. You ain't crying on our shoulder, because look, we have suffered great atrocities under your hands, man. We are broken people. We need salvation, man. Verse 26, therefore I will discover thy skirt upon thy face, and thy shame may appear. All right. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. I just wanted to just bring this news update. And if you all can want to look under these videos, this video's right here. U.S. orders some embassies. Let me see, CBS News. They're good to watch and just get some updates on it. But hey, man, these things are turning against Esau, and it's beautiful to watch. So, for you, I can come and by and watch it, man. Lord willing, it was edifying. So with that, I want to give all praise and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakar Kodash, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai for this truth, knowledge, and wisdom. And we close, man. Keep faith and keep fighting. It's a beautiful thing to watch in these last days, man. The finish line is right there. Hey, empty the tank, man. Empty the tank. Shalom, Akim. Shalom.